All right, Coach. Well, it's been a while since you guys have played. So, what's the feeling like around the program at this point as you guys get ready for another shot at it this week?
Well, I know our guys have been frustrated. We have had plans now to play the last 2 weeks and game plan and had good weeks of preparation, but unfortunately, weren't able to do so. And I know it can get frustrating as coaches, as players, as administrators, as all of us. You just got to stay the course. You got to continue to overcome the adversity, and that's just the way it is. And just got to stay focused on really each and every day of preparation, each and every week of practice, and get the most out of it because we're going to have the opportunities to play. It's just a matter of when.
And how have you seen the improvement continue to, or the players continue to progress, even though you don't get those game reps in the past couple weeks?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, obviously we're continuing to get better and grow, and a lot of guys are getting a lot of reps, and which is good. How that translates out on Saturdays, that's the biggest thing. That's what you have to see, going against each other every single day in practice. And we're going some different scout team looks and all of that, but we've been really, really thin, so we've had to service each other. And so, I think, I feel like we've put together good weeks, good days. I thought last week was a really good week for us overall. And so we'll kind of see how that translates on Saturdays, which I think it would. But, until we get there and continue to get back playing, we'll see.
How confident are you guys that you will be able to play this week? I know the cases across the entire athletic department kind of jumped up again this week.
I feel confident. We'll play this week. We don't want. We're starting to. We had a good round of testing. It was Sunday's test, and all the results are back from that, and feel really good about that. And then we ended up testing the day after practice as well. And so we just got to continue to have good weeks of practice. We had obviously a spike there. I think around this area, there's been a lot of spikes, and so. Just got to try to minimize that as much as possible by doing the things that you can control, washing your hands and social distancing, wearing your mask. And then sometimes it's going to hit you even though you're doing everything possible. And so we just have a good round of testing, which I think we're back on the upswing. So I feel pretty confident we'll get this one
in. Coach, I was hoping you could talk about Quinn Shanbor. Can you
Yeah.
kind of explain his role with the offense and how he helps you coach quarterbacks?
Yeah, he's doing a phenomenal job. Him and Dane Evans as well. Those guys are doing a tremendous job with their quarterbacks, and just they're in meetings every single day when I meet with them, and just kind of giving their perspective at times, through their eyes as a quarterback. Dane's played in this system. Quinn's played for a long time. Two experienced guys that have made a lot of plays and. Very knowledgeable about the game, but they're doing a great job, and we have a great room. We really do. It's a lot of fun to coach these guys, and they come to work every day, and that's kind of that sacred room to where we can all bounce ideas off each other, and building that rapport with each other and that confidence. And so it's been a lot of fun with this group, not only quarterbacks but Quinn as well and Dane. So they're doing a tremendous job.
What do you like about how they relate to the quarterbacks, and what about them lets you, trust them to kind of help you in that way?
Well, first off, they both played the position, and Quinn didn't really play per se in this system, but a lot of the system that we have, we've made some tweaks, and then Dane's played doing a lot of the same things at Tulsa that we're doing here. And so just those guys have made plays, and I know that, when those quarterbacks are kind of looking through a perspective of a guy that has truly been back there at the quarterback position, executing these plays, they kind of get a different voice, a different opinion, which is good. The more you can have of that, the better it is. And, I've been around, what we're doing a long time offensively, and had the opportunity to coach a lot of great guys. But the more guys you have that can instill that trust in your quarterbacks, the better. And so it was no different in North Carolina or Indiana or Arizona. As the offensive coordinator, I've had to be able to trust guys to the quarterbacks who they trust and lean heavily upon them on coaching that position, but at the same time understanding that they're going to have other guys in their ear. As myself, I'm always going to be with the quarterbacks and making sure that they understand what my thoughts are and what we're thinking, kind of going into each game plan and what they're comfortable with as well.
Thank you.
When will you make a decision on that open quarterback coaching job? Is that something you do in the offseason?
I'm not focused. Right now, we're in the middle of a season. We got everything we need. That's the least of my worries. I'm not going to tackle that thing until long after the season. So I think we're in a good spot. So there's no rush. I'm not exactly even sure how I'm going to fill the position.
That makes sense. A win this week, just with the way things played out, would get you guys right back in the race in the West Division with some of the other teams that have lost. Is that something you've talked to your players about?
Yeah, we're focused in on each and every week. Obviously our players understand where we stand. They understand our backs are against the wall. But so is everyone. You're going to get everybody's best. I know UAB, had a tough one the other weekend, but they're playing back at home to where they take great pride and protecting their house. And they've had up until this season, I think they've had one of the longest winning streaks at home in college football. And so I know they take great pride in that. It's a challenge to play these guys wherever it is. They're a great football team. There's a reason why they've played in the championship game. And so, again, we got our hands full, but we're excited about the opportunity. I know our guys are excited about going on the road and having the opportunity to play a great opponent.
Does it help to prepare for La Tech the way they all prepared for them, and being as they're the last team that played UAB and to beat UAB, does that kind of give y'all any? Does that help y'all prepare at all?
Well, every week helps you, through your game studies and your cut-ups. You're always going to have some mutual things that you do with every opponent, some sort of way. And so, just being able to kind of see how they tack different things and, and how different teams would tack them. Obviously, that helps everyone. It helps every team. And so, but it's a whole different animal. They're two different teams, and they do different things on defense, and they do different things on offense. And so, it's always good to see the previous cut-ups and the previous games and breakdowns. But that's you're dealing with two different, animals. I should say they're two totally different teams.
And UAB overall, what do you know about them, and where do their strengths lie?
Well, starting with defense, I think it all starts up front with them. They're very athletic, long. And they're extremely big inside with great twitch, and so they're very physical up front. On the defensive line, they got very athletic linebackers that can play in space and cover. And the secondary, they're very aggressive. They're very physical, getting their hands on you, trying to disrupt your routes, your timings. Mixing in their zone and man. Not a huge pressure team. They will pressure you, but they rely on that front four to get to the quarterback. And if you have seen any of the games, they're very good at getting the quarterback and getting pressure. And so defensively, I think they're really really good. I think they're one of the top defenses in the country, I think, in the last couple of years. And so, it'll be a great challenge. Offensively, the team itself, they play very physical on both sides of the ball. Up front, their O-line takes great pride in getting off the ball, covering you up. Their backs are really solid, probably some of the best backs in our conference overall. They play downhill, they play physical, and they'll stretch you out and run some of the stretch plays. And then as soon as you start getting stretched out and all of that, they're going to get downhill in some inside zones, some counters, and your RPO game. They do a very good job of trying to find your conflict players. They're smart at what they do. And then once you start, having to gain those extra hats in the run game, that's when they're going to start play action and getting you over the top. And so, and very, very solid special teams wise. And they're from top to bottom, a really good football team. Coach Clark does a great job. They got great players and great coaches. but it is what it is. They're by far and away one of the top teams in our league.
For the top pass defense in the league, is there something that those guys do that make them so effective, holding everybody down in the passing
Well, they
game?
mix up their zone and man very well, and again, they got great coverage guys. They get their hands on you, they're physical, and I think that's one part of the equation is they got very good D backs. The second part of it is they're really good up front, and so it's not like you're going to sit back there and start patting the ball and getting all these downfield routes to start developing all that stuff and just have a lot of time. You have to understand, you have to pick your times and make sure that you're very good up front in your protections because, again, you start getting a lot of one-on-one matchups. 5-on-5, they got guys that can really pressure the quarterback, and I think that's a big part of it as well. So it's kind of a two-way street.
How rough has these series of weeks been on your guys? You're playing, you're not playing, you're kind of up in the air. I mean,
Our
has that
kids
been
have
tough
been
on you?
great, Brett. They really have. They understand the situation we're all in, and I don't think it's just our players. We can sit and focus on our players, but I think it's the country. I think across the big scope of it is there's had to be a lot of games canceled, not only in our conference, but across all of college football. And so, again, that's part of the mental toughness that you have to have with what we're dealing with. And, understanding that, yes, it can get frustrated and you put a lot of work into preparing and getting ready for a weekend. And there's been times where that weekend doesn't show up. That's just part of it. But our kids have been great about it. They've continued to have great attitudes. They're continuing to work extremely hard. And so, I think that's the biggest thing, is just being mentally tough enough to overcome it, understanding, we're going to get that opportunity down the road with some of these games being rescheduled. But we got to continue to have good weeks of testing, because we don't have a lot of wiggle room left with some of the dates and timing of moving forward.
'Cause you have a lot of guys that are in the midst of a great season. I mean, Darden's still leading the country in touchdown passes. Is that just disappointing for you guys when you have somebody that's way up there and having a great season like that, to have everything kind of off?
Well, not only, guys having great seasons, but I think it's difficult on everyone. Again, the opportunities to go out and compete, you only get so many in college football with your time at a university. And so anytime, those opportunities aren't there, it gets frustrating. But, we have other opportunities to go. And again, got some of those games rescheduled. And so as of now, obviously we've lost really two, the first two early ones with Houston and Texas A&M. But other than that, we should be fine. We should get our full slate of conference games in. That's what we're expecting. And that's what we're going to work towards. I mean, again, you can't control some of the stuff that's going to happen. Just really focus in on trying to do everything we can to get to Saturdays in a good way.
One of those guys that's having a really great season is KD Davis. I mean, what has he meant to your guys' program this year?
Yeah, he's obviously he had some things early on to where he missed a game, I think it was, and which was unfortunate. But he brings a lot of energy to our defense. He plays extremely hard. He has a high motor, and trying to get to the football. He brings the toughness and attitude. He's becoming a really solid leader on our defense, and so that's what we need, him and Tyreek and Larry and all those guys. I think it's a really solid group. We just got to continue to build that continuity, because really there hasn't been a ton of it defensively until this past game, and so that's the biggest thing defensively, is just finding the continuity overall. But he's gonna give you everything he has each and every week he's in there and compete. And those are the guys that you love to coach and be around, and they don't take anything for granted. They don't take days off.